Hello to all of my current and inspiring travel nurses. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today I want to have a topic that is no longer a phenomenon in the travel nursing industry. It is canceling contracts. This is the RV Travel Nurse. To begin with, I want to welcome you to the RV Travel Nurse. If you are new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. I post new videos every Monday and Friday for your enjoyment, and make sure you hit that like up button to let me know that I'm doing a good job. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing that we're thinking about is the potential for our contracts to get canceled. I remember when it happened to me, and I remember when I didn't know what to do. So today, I'm going to go over what exactly a canceling contract means, as well as what you should do in the future. So to begin with, what exactly is a travel nursing contract? So it is a legal contract between the travel nursing company and yourself in regards to when you were going to work for a facility. So there's going to be a start date and there's going to be an end date. Unfortunately, contracts can be canceled at any time. They can be canceled in the beginning of your contract before you even start, or in the middle of the contract when you're there. So is there really any way to prevent your contract from being canceled? No. Unfortunately, there is no way for you to prevent it from being canceled. However, there are ways that you can help yourself in case a contract is canceled. You can have your travel nursing agency, if they agree to write a clause within your contract stating that if there is a chance that you do get canceled, that you will be reimbursed for your traveling expenses by either the agency or the facility. A lot of times they will do that, and some of the times they won't. Unfortunately, you don't really have much control over that. So another thing that I want you to remember is that your contract is between you and the travel nursing agency. There is a completely separate contract that the agency holds with the facility that you're planning to work at. One thing that I want you to remember that is very important within travel nursing is that recruiters and agencies are in the business to make the facilities happy. So even though you might get canceled or you might not be contracted there, whatever the case may be, it's just the way of the business. You just kind of have to learn to accept it and kind of move on and find your next opportunity within travel nursing. So let's start with why hospitals cancel contracts. So one of the main reasons sometimes that hospitals cancel contracts is because of seasonal contracts, meaning that you're working during a time of a seasonal existence, meaning snowbirds when they come down to Florida or when they go to Arizona. A lot of times they will cancel you because of low census, meaning that the snowbirds haven't really come down yet, so there's not a big influx in the hospital. Another reason for early cancellations with hospitals is during EMR conversions. That is when they are transitioning to a new computer system within the facility, and they need nurses who already know the computer system to kind of help with the backlog of nurses that are still trying to figure it out. Unfortunately, I've seen these contracts usually get delayed. They'll say, oh no, we'll see you in a week from now, and then eventually probably cancel you. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen. These are the reasons that I stay away from those contracts in the future. So one of the most common reasons that you can be canceled from a contract while you're actually on assignment can be related to poor traveler performance or behavior. So what exactly does that mean? That could be attendance issues, staff complaints, patient complaints, insufficient knowledge of the actual specialty, or it could be just personality conflicts between you and the staff. So next we're going to move on to why travel nurses cancel their own contracts. There could be several reasons why this occurs. One being that, you have family emergencies, you might have personal health issues that pop up, maybe the facility is just not a safe place to work, maybe you're worried about your license, or maybe there's even a potential that the facility might not uphold their contractual agreements under your contract. So if there is a reason that you have to cancel your contract due to a family emergency or personal health issue, that is a valid reason to cancel your contract. Make sure that you speak with your recruiter and make sure that they're aware of what's going on. A lot of times they can either renegotiate your contract, or sometimes the facility will be understanding, they'll actually let you out of that contractual agreement. So if you have to cancel your contract for either the facility not upholding the contractual agreements, or if you just feel like it's an unsafe place for your license, there are a couple things that you can do. You can speak with your recruiter. I always suggest that. Make sure that you speak with either a clinical liaison at the travel company, because a lot of times they can kind of be the intermediary between you and the facility to make sure that you have a better experience while you're on your travel nursing assignment. However, if there is no speaking with the facility or the clinical liaison and there's nothing that you can do, a lot of times a lot of travel nursing companies will give you a 2-week termination clause, meaning that you finish out 2 weeks just like any other job that you would be at, and then there's no personal penalties on your contract or your record good with the facility. So there are some consequences if you decide to cancel your travel nursing contract as a travel nurse. Two of them being housing and as well as the agency trust. Starting with housing, if the agency had provided you housing, you are usually held liable for the remainder of that housing. If that is the case, a lot of times you can find another facility maybe within the area that's close by that you can pick up an assignment. If you can't, you're held liable for the remainder of that lease. The other thing being agency trust. With agency trust, if you continuously are canceling contracts or having habitual problems with either the agency or facilities that you're going at, a lot of times you can lose that agency trust. And if you lose that agency trust, they will put you on a do not use list in the future. And if you're working with a specific agency that only works with specific hospitals that you want to work at, well, you're going to be put on a do not use list. They will not use you, and that's just one of the many consequences that can happen if you choose to cancel a contract. So your contract's been canceled, now what? Here are 5 tips on what you should do if your contract is canceled. Tip number 1. Always have a plan B in place. If you have already traveled to your assignment and your contract is canceled either during or before your assignment was to begin, speak with your contracted agent and see if they can find you someplace else that you can go within that area. If you can't, make sure that you have money saved in the bank so that you are prepared for a month or 2 if it takes that amount of time for you to find your next contract. Tip number 2, if your current recruiter is unable to find you another position someplace else, then speak with another recruiter. I've already done a video regarding working with multiple travel agencies. I'm going to leave that link up here in the corner, and I suggest that you go follow it and get informed in regards to how working with multiple recruiters can be beneficial to you. Tip number 3 that I've already kind of covered in tip number 1 is make sure that you are financially prepared. My husband and I always have at least 3 months worth of expenses in our savings account in case I am canceled and I'm unable to find a contract within an appropriate amount of time. Tip number 4, make sure that you always have your documentation as well as your licensure on you. Meaning that if you decide that you need to work with another recruiter, they're going to obviously want all of the profile information that you had given your previous recruiter. So if you're 3,000 miles away on location and you don't have any of that documentation with you, that's obviously going to cause a problem. So make sure that you always have that on you just in case. And lastly, tip number 5, if you are researching future contracts with future facilities, make sure that you do your research on if the facility has canceled contracts in the past or how well the facility does to the general public. There's plenty of Google websites out there that will give you ratings in regards to if the facility is a good facility or not, and there are plenty of Facebook groups out there that talk about contract cancellations. You can do your own research the facility. If they are habitual contract cancellation facility, then my suggestion is don't go there. My advice to you is if your contract gets canceled, it's okay. It happens to everybody. It is not a phenomenon within the travel nursing industry anymore, and you just kind of have to learn now to expect it and make sure that you're prepared. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Make sure that you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Of course, you've seen my YouTube, and I have my own personal blog at www.thervtravelnurse.com. If you have any suggestions, and if you've been canceled from a contract before, for maybe those out there who haven't started travel nursing yet, leave comments down below. I love to hear from them, and I love answering any questions that you may have. Until next time, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Bye-bye.